Hi, my name is Matt from ClickBid, and I want to do a kind of a walkthrough of our EventStream product. I have a bunch of notes that I want to follow and try to stay on track and move nice and quickly through this. So I'll look down a lot, but in this webinar tutorial, but it's to keep us all on focus. What I want to talk about today is specifically how to set up and run the EventStream in addition to your in-person event. EventStream allows you to broadcast the event to anybody at home who cannot attend because maybe they're out of town, they're not feeling well, they don't live in the region where you are located or having your event. For any reason, they can't be at your event. And so this is a great way to engage them, keep your donors engaged, even when they can't be there in person. So what I want to do is just kind of walk through it and how I would set it up for my event. And so you can see here, I have a demonstration of my my account. I've got it zoomed in a little bit so we can take a look at it. So let's dive in. So the first thing I want to do is I want to set up two individual items. And the first item is a live item that people can bid on from home as well as in the room. And then I want to set up a appeal item that people can give with an auctioneer's support at the event, but also at home. So let's just go to items, manage items. And I am going to take a look at my auction catalog here and locate that live item. So I'm just going to go to my type here, type live, and then I'm going to go to the edit. Now in my details here, I'm looking for item type and I want to make sure it's set to live. And then I want to make sure that I have this option here, allow EventStream bids set to yes. If you don't see this option here, then get in touch with our support team and we'll be able to help you get that activated in your account. Now, the thing you want to set once you've changed this to yes is you want to make sure you have a market value and a starting bid and an increment. The starting bid and the increment are really important when you're allowing people to bid from home because these are the amounts that we're going to show people on their devices when they're bidding from home or outside of your event. The starting bid, in this case, I'm going to set, let's say market value is $3,000. I usually say 35 to 45% of the fair market value. Let's just go a little low and start at $1,000. Now, the auctioneer might say, all right, we're going to move up $250 increments. So it's important to make sure that you speak with your auctioneer to make sure these increments are set properly and that they follow them, because at the event, it's going to be really important because we're going to do the math for you and we want to make sure we have the right data. So again, live item type, allow live or EventStream bids yes, and a starting bid and a bidding increment. When I have that all set, I can press complete and go back. And then I'm going to change this type filter here from live to donation. And now I see the cash donation. This is going to be my appeal. What we need is an item that is of type donation. So we want to make sure that we set that item up as a donation type. When you do that, you get a couple of options down here. You get the preset denominations. This is what the auctioneer or the MC is going to start at and work down towards. If you've ever seen that at an event where they say, who is willing to give $5,000 for this or fine organization? We need 3 people to do that to get this thing going. And then they say, well, maybe 5,000 isn't the right number for you. How about 2,500? Can we get 5 people to give $2,500 to keep the donations coming in, and then they work their way down. So these numbers are really important, again, because you want to keep them in sync. We want to make sure that anybody who bids away from the event has the same opportunity and same dollar amounts as everybody in the room. And the auctioneer will work their way down to $100 and so on. So I usually recommend even numbers, so we have 6 increments, and that's a good kind of a set there. If you want to add one, you can press plus, or you can hit the X and delete it. Now, underneath the increments, you can have a projected display settings. This is what will show on the screen. Your AV team will put this on the screen, and people can actually see the amounts coming in real time. So my goal is going to be, let's say, well, first let me start at the top. I'm going to set my animation theme to a thermometer. I do want to show a thermometer towards my goal. I'm just going to use the blue gradient background. I don't want to show my goal, and I am going to set it to, let's say, $40,000. The buffer is how much we may have raised already if somebody sent in a check. I do want to show donor names. I'm going to turn off sponsorships. I do want to show all donations because this would be anybody who maybe gave a text to give in addition to donating on this item. And then I can upload a picture if I want. When you're all done, it's going to have this link here, the appeal display share link. You may need to refresh if this is the first time you've edited. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and it's going to pop open a new window. Now you'll see here that I have $11,500 already raised, which is great if you have dollar amounts already raised when you start. But I can see my thermometer is running, my total is there, my donor thank yous are there. I can give that link to the AV team and they can pull it up and make it available on a projector during the event. So imagine this on either side of the auctioneer as they're calling out the donations that are coming in. They'll start showing up on this screen. The number will start going up. Creates a lot of energy. I can go ahead and click back and it'll take me back to my manage items. All right, checking my notes, making sure I'm on track here. The next thing we want to do is we want to think about the actual in-room experience and how we're going to make that available to everybody at home. The way we do that is one of two ways. The first way, the easiest way, is that if you've already hired an AV company to make available a camera in the back of the room and big TVs on either side of the podium, and then that camera is going to be put up on those big screens. There's an AV company that's doing some switching. At the very least, if they're putting up a microphone at the front of the room, those things are going to help you dramatically. We want to make sure that we take advantage of those. What I recommend is having somebody from ClickBid, typically myself, talk to the AV company, kind of a nerd to nerd conversation. What I'm going to do is give them a link and they can use that link to broadcast to everybody on the internet, anybody who has access to the bid site. And that's all you're going to need. I just give them the link, I tell them what time to start broadcasting, and that's all you have to do. So really quite simple, because you're already paying for and leveraging those resources. So what I would do in that case is I would get on the phone with an AV team and I would say, I'm going to give you a link and I'm going to go down here to Event Central, Live Broadcast, and I'm going to come over here to the right and it says Copy Broadcast URL. So if I just click on that, it says copied. I'm going to compose an email, paste the link into the email, and then what that's going to do when they open it is it's going to open a broadcast window. Now, when it does, good, it picked the right kind of sample camera that I have set up because I'm already using my camera for this webinar. It's going to basically just take whatever input I give it and I can just press start and now I'm broadcasting. The AV team will have a USB cable, they can plug into a laptop. The conversation that I would have with them will be to determine what kind of hardware is necessary, what maybe, do we need to make sure that there's a laptop available, would the AV team have one on standby, that kind of thing. I collect that information and then we're good to go. The other option is that you do need to set this up on your own. So you don't have an AV company, maybe all you have is they're providing you a microphone, and it's a small gathering, it's a small group of people, and so there's a wireless microphone that goes into a box and so on. If we can't have access to the audio feed, then we need to create kind of that person in the room. What we're going to do is we're going to take a laptop, very similar to this right here. I use, it's a Windows Surface device. You can take the keyboard off. The nice thing is once I get things set up, I can just kind of leave it like this, and it's good to go. The other thing you can do is you can buy an external web camera. I have one right here. This is a little bit higher end. It's one that I use. It's got a kind of a zoom lens and a focus lens. But what you want to do though is set the camera up in a place that has Wi-Fi access and is close enough to the front of the stage. And so that way, because again, what we want people to watch is the program. We don't need to start the broadcast at 6 p.m. when the doors open and everybody starts showing up for check-in and browsing and social hour. We really want to start the broadcast, let's say at 7 p.m. when the program starts. So we're going to go ahead and set up that camera close by, maybe on one of the tables or a little bistro table. Those always work pretty well. Just get a little kind of a 4.5 foot tall bistro table, set this right on it, take your web camera, point it at the stage, and get a microphone that you can either clip. You can do a lavalier mic. Those are relatively inexpensive. You can clip that to the MC. You can put it on the podium, and then that plugs into the laptop as well. When that's all set up, I have the camera, and I just basically set it on the table, point it at it, open up the broadcaster, and it's going to let me do the exact same thing that I did with the AV team. It's going to let me choose my camera. See, I can see here I have some options. It's going to let me choose my microphone. You can see here I have some options, and then I'm going to press start. Once I press start, I'm broadcasting. Let's say the program starts at 7. What I want to do is send a message to everybody who's unable to attend at about 6:50, 6:55. To do that, I'm going to go to bidders, text bidders, and then I'm going to compose a text, and I'm going to choose from our filters. I'm going to choose bidders who have not logged in, or I'm going to choose bidders not checked in. So this one, I might actually choose this, bidders not checked in for the first time out. And then I'm going to just I'm just going to say I'm going to send it now. And then I'm going to type a message, and it's going to say bracket F bracket. The program is about to start. Join the broadcast so you don't miss anything. And then I'm going to put bracket U bracket. Now, when I hit send text, this is going to go to everybody who is not checked in. This means people who are not at your event, people who have not come into the check-in, people that have not told you in advance that they're going to be in attendance. And it's going to replace this bracket F bracket with everybody's first name when it sends out a message. Basically, it goes through a loop, takes everybody's first name, puts it in there, and at the end, it replaces this bracket U bracket with the link to everybody's individualized login. It lets them log in, and they'll be able to join the broadcast. Now, if I go to this tab that I have open here, you can see that I have a kind of a small window of the bidding site. This is what it would look like on my phone. And I am going to log in, and then it's going to take me right to this screen, and it's going to ask me for a code. You might have heard that. I just got a text message, and it's 412366, and it says, "You are Matt Burnell. Continue." Yes, I am. And now I can bid on the auction. If this is 6:55, I logged in on my phone. As the organization, I'm over at that laptop that I set up, and I go back to live broadcast, and then I click on open broadcaster. Or I could have emailed myself that link that I copied earlier. I'm going to turn off the microphone so we don't get any cross feed here. I'm going to press start, and now it says stop. I'm broadcasting. It says live, and now if I go over to there we go, and you can see I'm seeing what is being broadcast. And so now I can just let this laptop, so I'm broadcasting this, I can just let this laptop sit on that table and broadcast whatever's happening in the room. And everybody will be basically looking through a virtual set of eyeballs into the event, and they'll be able to participate from home. Now, remember how I set up those live auction item and the appeal item? What you're going to want to do is get a volunteer. This is the last step. We want to get a volunteer to control the live auction for everybody at home and control the appeal for everybody at home. You have somebody who's representing, just like this laptop is set up on a bistro table pointed at the podium. You want somebody else to represent people being able to participate. So I'm going to go to Event Central, Butler, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to choose EventStream. Here, manage my EventStream. And it's going to ask me to take control. Only one person can be using this screen at one time because we need one person controlling it. And now I have this screen, which is basically my ability to start and stop live auction items, start and stop the appeal. The auctioneer says, let's get started. We're going to do the Detroit Tigers tickets. I'm going to actually restart this item. This is a previous demo. So I've got currently no bids. I pressed start. The next first bid is going to be $1,000. Now, At home, you can see here that everything's open because it says current, no bids. I can edit, next, 1,000, and I can edit. And somebody at home is going to see the bid live button. It's kind of, see how it's kind of blinking there or pulsing? I can press start, and now I'm going to bid on that. I'm going to bid the first $1,000. So I bid, yep, I do want to bid on it. And now what you'll see here is, oh, there's Matt Burnell. He just bid from home. I remember, I'm the volunteer running the screen. I hold up a paddle. I say, hey, we got a bid from the internet. Okay, that's Matt Burnell. The auctioneer sees it, just like the auctioneer sees any other bid in the room. Now, I'm the volunteer paying attention. I'm watching the room. Somebody raises their paddle at $12.50. So I'm going to press submit. And now bid is saved for item 110. I have a placeholder that came in at $12.50. That means somebody in the room placed a bid for $12.50. The next bid is $1,500. If I'm bidding from home, I just got outbid. You can see here I've been outbid. The next bid is $1,500. All right, I'm in $1,500. And now the system updated automatically. Matt's back in the running. I raise my paddle as that representing the internet bids, and I say, oh, we got another bid. And the auctioneer says, okay, I see that, $1,500. Who's going to give me $1,750? Now, remember how I said it's really important to set the right starting bid and set the right increment. That's because the system is doing the math for us. It's much better that way. Every time somebody bids, we go up by $250. If the auctioneer goes off script and says, okay, who's going to give me $1,700? You're like, uh-oh. If I look at everybody at home, they're bidding $1,750. But on the screen, I hear him say $1,700. Well, I can't bid $1,700. So what you would need to do as the volunteer is just press edit, $1,700. And now the next bid is $1,700. So you're able to keep up with the auctioneer. So now I've changed the bid. The auctioneer is telling me on the screen $1,700, and I'm sitting on my couch in my living room and I'm seeing him say $1,700, and I have a button that says $1,700. So I can go ahead and press that again, and now I'm bidding, and it's going up by $200 increments. So now the increment is $200 and the next one is $1,900. If we need to change it back to $250, we can change the ongoing minimum bid to $250, and now we're back to $1,950. This is how you would change on the fly. Now, again, when we had that conversation with the auctioneer, it is important to say, listen, if you don't have to change the increments, please don't, because it's, there's a lot going on and we don't want to have to mess with it. But if you have to, you can. Sometimes when we get to the end of the auction, somebody will say, okay, if you can't give me $1,950, will you give me $1,900? Oh, they said $1,900. Okay, so $1,900. Now everybody at home has the same opportunity to give $1,900. Now, if somebody does do 19 and it goes to 2,100, I have the option at home to finish the bid, or I can let it go. The auctioneer says going once, going twice, sold, and I press sell. And what that does is it shuts off the bidding so nobody else can sneak a bid in at the end. And it says, oh, frowny face, you did not win this item. So this is a great way to get donations or live auction bids coming in. How do we get donations? When the auctioneer moves on to the appeal, the online donation system, we go to donation items, we click on that, and then we choose cash donation. That brings open the donations, and I'm going to start at $5,000. Now, I know we're running this because I'm on the donation. I clicked on cash donation, I see the histories, and I have the increments. We set those up earlier. Again, it was good to set those up in advance. So at $5,000, I see here at home, I'm listening to the MC talk about, hey, who's going to raise their paddle at $5,000? If I'm going to be that person at home, I'm going to press give $5,000. And I can say, please don't show my name, or I can say yes, and it will show my name. So I'm just going to say yes, and now thank you for your generosity, and I've donated $5,000, and the total is $16,500. And I see here, oh, $5,000. You can raise your paddle in the room as the volunteer, and the auctioneer will say, hey, we have an online donation, $5,000. This is amazing. Now, can everybody see this $5,000 donation? Absolutely. Remember, when I sent you that customized bidding link for the cash donation, scroll down, projected display settings, and appeal. Click on that. I can now see that we're going to get these names coming in. Mike, and eventually you're going to see Matt Burnell. There it is. So there's the Matt Burnell. Now, let's say we have the auctioneer says, okay, maybe 5,000 is not the amount. Maybe it's 2,500. Do we have somebody who can give 2,500? I'm going to press 2,500 as that volunteer. I'm going to turn off 5,000. What I'm doing, again, is I'm controlling the screen for everybody who is unable to attend. On my screen at home or wherever I am, not in the room, I can see this button turn to 2,500. Now, if I give, I'm going to flip over to that appeal display, and then I'm going to show you, again, me bidding at home, try to get my screens all organized here. I'm going to give $2,500. I'm going to say, please don't show my name, and I'm going to say yes. Now, notice it said anonymous, and you can see the thermometer is going up. Now we're halfway. So people are giving, the money is coming in, I keep pressing give, and now Matt Burnell has given, and at some point, once we get to a certain amount, we're a little over halfway. If I keep giving, that thermometer is going to move up like it just did right there. It just moved up a little bit more, and names will continue to appear on the screen. The AV company, if you gave them the feed to let them control it, they can actually take this screen right here, this total raised 24,000. They can actually give it to the broadcast, and people at home can actually see their name appear on screen. So if you're using an AV company to have a camera in the back of the room, this is an amazing opportunity to extend your event with very, very little effort. We will help you connect with the AV team, get everything organized, and this is going to go just incredibly well because people can give at home. We know that the average donation in our system is about $500. Imagine 2, 3, 4, just at the minimum, giving at your event $500. Let alone if you have 20, 30, 40 people who couldn't attend but want to watch the program itself. Remember, we're not asking them to watch the whole thing. We're asking them to watch the program, the parts of the program that are really, really important. The updates, the stories, the touching video, and so on. That stuff can be presented to everybody at home, and they can see and experience and stay engaged in your charity. All right, so the auctioneer says, all right, maybe they've worked their way down. Now you can click on the button to turn it off. You can go to 100. Now we're down there, and we say, if there is a dollar amount that you feel that you want to give that you didn't see, go ahead and choose the other option, and you can type in any dollar amount you want. So the volunteer turns on the other option, and you can see on your phone, this is my phone, I can give 100 or I can give 50. And now that shows up here, $50. And you can see those coming in. Very, very simple, very easy to use. When you're all done, you can just click this little X to close out the appeal, and that's it. It looks like I got myself through my notes. I'm pretty happy about that. I hope you enjoyed this webinar. Again, I wanted to make it nice, quick, and easy. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. We're always happy to help, and I hope you have a great event.